Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Xenonauts. So last time we had our first successful, well, period, it was our first, but it was also our first successful terror site attack. We did not run into this game's version of the chrysalids. I assume it's a little bit too early for the game to be throwing those at me, I guess. I could have sworn that I ran into them on my first ever terror site mission in a personal campaign that I have going that I haven't played in a little while, but nonetheless. But we didn't run into that this time. So I don't know if it's just, I researched certain tech and I was technically further along in the game last time, and so the game decided to, give me harder opponents. Or if I'm just misremembering and you just don't get this game's version of the chrysalids on your first terror site. I'm not sure which it is, but either way, we didn't run into them last time, which probably helped contribute to us having a very successful first terror site mission. But with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and continue on in our efforts to deal with the aliens. We do have one more rifleman, I believe, here to... Oh, no, we don't actually. Okay, we are done needing to actually build rifles for here. Now, obviously, we still need them for the other base, but I'm actually going to go ahead and take off of that for a second, because apparently we're missing a single piece of jackal armor, which I'm a little surprised by, to be honest. Oh. Missing. Commander, have you seen my radiological study of Elenium anywhere? No? Typical. I take the time to design a flawless filing system and my team will still walk off with papers. This isn't the first time it's happened either. We've had several research papers go missing, nothing more than a day at most, but it's holding up our work on our weapons development program, and that's time we can't afford to waste. I've spoken to the Provost Marshal and reminded him if he is going to post his goons at the door for my labs, they should be taking their jobs more seriously. Hopefully that will be sufficient. So I do know that at some point during the game, local forces will eventually gain access to laser weapons. I believe that's the best they get. And I think sort of getting this pop-up is kind of the start of getting that, but it's still a little ways out before we actually have to deal with it. Okay, did we get the jackal armor? We did. Wonderful. Natalie, there's your jackal armor, because apparently I screwed up my shipment or something and accidentally didn't send... Or, well, whatever. Do I want to... No, let's move on and get the laser carbines going. Those are going to take 5 days to finish overall. Discovered. A spy in my labs? No, no. Worse than that. At least a spy is honestly duplicitous. A spy isn't someone I invited to join my team to stop this extinction level event and sells the work I sweat blood and tears over to the highest bidder. My personal assistant. Those sly glances, the papers I submitted to Nature that were rejected, that fool has been leaking everything that passed through his filthy thieving hands as quickly as me and my team discovered it. Now the researchers of every government and major corporation on the planet are scratching their Neanderthal skulls over my theories and stealing the credit. Well, let them try. We caught the little rat sneaking out one of our prototypes, so they must be having trouble grasping the nuances of alien technology, even with my notes. What the long-term consequences of this traitor will be, I can't say. But in the short term, don't expect to ever sell our alien-derived equipment at a profit. Doesn't really hurt us, honestly. We have been selling their equipment. And alien alloy fabrication. Good news, Commander. I have developed a method of shaping captured alien alloys, allowing us to incorporate them into our designs for the first time. This is largely a result of tapping the vast reserves of energy locked away inside our stores of Elenium. Though the foundry processes are a little more complex than simply blasting the materials with our upgraded laboratory lasers until they melt. For the sake of brevity, I will leave the explanation at that. And needless to say, this is a discovery of enormous significance. We can vastly improve the efficiency of our existing technology with alien materials, but they also open the door to ideas that seemed impossible only a few weeks ago. The frontiers of science have moved more in the past few months than they did in the previous century. Some of these alloys have properties that barely even exist in theoretical science. I must admit that my team are struggling with the pace of advance. We are sometimes as much limited by our scientific education as we are enlightened by it. The proposal for developing improved battlefield infantry armor with these materials may therefore seem a little underwhelming, but it marks only the start of what we can achieve. I would not be surprised if we were building whole vehicles and entire aircraft out of them soon. In the meantime, if we see any off-duty scientists strolling around the base, please remind them that A, they should be in bed, and that B, research materials should stay within the laboratory at all times. The number of unauthorized upgrades appearing across the base is matched only by the amount of yawning in my labs. So that gives us the Wolf battle armor, which we'll go ahead and check out in a second. But let's go ahead and get the... Oh, actually, we don't have it yet. We have to research it first. Never mind. Wolf battle armor is significantly heavier armor, but it is also significantly better, but it's also costly to manufacture. So we may or may not build it. Maybe a couple for some of our guys, you know, the ones that are going to be up on the front line. So basically our shield and shotgun dudes. But we're probably not going to mass produce it. But let's go ahead and get the directional thrusters. Those are actually, I think, more useful. God, it's been a while since we got a UFO. I think it had been like a week. Jesus. The aliens actually took a break. They said, damn, they shot down all of our shit. Another medium. Yep, just shoot them down over the ocean. I don't care. We're not going to fight this because it's just some fighters and then a Corvette. It's basically nothing new. Okay. Assault dudes, I have new fancy schmancy weapons for you. So enjoy that. Speaking of this, I actually now need to... Since I did change one of our guys to using... from being a rifleman to another assault. I changed Naomi, or I think was her name, right? No, Natalie. I don't know why I was thinking Naomi. But yeah, she gets different equipment now, which means I needed more. I think just the one for now. If we need to build another one, we can do it later, no problem. But I think it's fine as it is. In fact, actually, hold off on producing those. Give me the laser pistols now. And let's send Charlie 1 out. We'll double check that they're set up properly. Right, game? Yeah, haven't screwed with them at all. Goody. You know, just gotta double check that stuff sometimes. Charlie 1, go out. It's just another Corvette. Nothing fancy. But now we have better equipment. Which is always beneficial. Oh, I forgot to get my timer started. This has gone for about 8 minutes already, so I'm just going to go ahead and set the timer for 30. I knew I was forgetting to do something. I just couldn't recall what it was. Okay, there is an alien officer apparently present here. Depending on who we're fighting, we'll be able to point them out relatively easily. I don't recall what they look like for the various classes. I believe with the caissons, I think it's the purple shirt dudes. I think actually are represented as officers. But don't quote me on that, I really don't recall. Commander, we have picked up unusual communication signals emanating from the landing zone. We believe that the area may contain one of the alien officers we need to interrogate. We are also likely to be identifiable by their headgear. Please do your best to capture this creature so we can continue to advance our research. Sure, we'll try. No promises. Oh shit, I think we forgot to swap out the hunter for the other weapon. For some reason I thought it was auto-apply, but it isn't. So, whoops. That's minor annoyance, but it's not going to significantly hamper us. But yeah, whoopsie daisy. I'm gonna actually have you push up just a little bit more so you're not too close to our guys. Okay, there's a dude past this courtyard that we're hiding, or well, not hiding out in, but that we're hanging out by. Found you. Igor, you still have a pretty good shot. Great job, Igor. Sadly, the civilian died still. We didn't see the guy in time to kill him early, but you take what you can get. For some reason, I thought that was the UFO. I'm like, damn, we already found it? No, that's just the wall. Okay, you just watch there. In fact, actually, pull back slightly in case there's a dude here that I can't see. Any alien officer is generally going to be hanging out inside the UFO, so... we don't need to worry about him being outside. I mean, technically I think they can be, I don't think I've ever seen them outside. I mean, I assume this building is clear, but, you know... we've seen how this shit goes sometimes. You think something's clear, turns out it's not, you get shot in the ass. I think we found the UFO. Seems like it's probably over in this direction. That was a door? Damn, I couldn't tell that was a door. I thought it was a window. Oh. I assume he ran out of time units. He ran up here and then ran out. Did I open this door? I don't recall doing so. Okay, I assume there's nobody in the other building up here on the roof, or the other room on the roof, so I'm just gonna go ahead and assume this building is officially considered clear, as far as I'm concerned. And we're gonna go ahead and push out. Yeah, I think the UFO is down to the end of this road. Really looking like it. Yep, there it is. Found it. So let's go ahead and get you moving out here. Don't mind that all of your stands are being destroyed, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that the rest of the aliens are inside the UFO. Where the, oh, okay, I assume you were hanging out by those rocks. And way too much fire there. We're not making it through there. And it doesn't look like there is a breach in the UFO, so we're gonna have to go the long way around. Which isn't too big of a deal. Okay, so we have decent gear. Hopefully I'll be able to actually, you know, get my guys into position. Yeah, well, my preferred position. Without them being murdered. Can't quite make it. Okay, you can make that one though. You don't have enough to crouch, sadly. Which is a shame. No. Come on, Terry, crouch. Yellow will move up behind. Sophia will move up behind. Veronica. Let's go ahead and have Igor push up here. Just, you know, double check that nobody's in there. Now this hallway is generally clear. It's the next room where the question is going to be. Luckily, this team has like shit tons of medals, so it's somewhat unlikely that they will break from psionics, because they have a ton of bravery. Okay, it is there. I just can't frickin' see it because of the wall. It's not quite the way I want to do it, game. I would like to hide this bottom corner. But sadly, none of these options is just to hide that bottom corner. Now, I do need to get somebody in the center there. Hopefully this goes better than the last time we did this, because I know last time it wasn't super successful. I think that was a soldier and not an officer. I think. That is a guard. This looks to be clear-ish. Oh, fuck. Ah, god damn it. Fucking Igor didn't reaction fire like he was supposed to. Fuck you, Igor. Just gonna go ahead and say that. You didn't do your damn job. You had literally one job, Igor. One job. That was to reaction fire as soon as somebody opened that fucking door. So, Igor got himself killed as well as Giella. Sophie gets the Order of Gallantry, and Veronica gets promoted to Sergeant, and we lose 2 of our best people. Because Igor doesn't know how to reaction fire. There's a whole reason that I recruit people who have reflex before any other stat. Because I want them to reaction fire, but they don't always do it. Even when they have pretty high stats, you know, 61 reflex is a pretty decent stat. Sadly, I can't see... Here we go. No, sadly, this doesn't allow me to see what his stats were at the time of his death. So I don't know what he was, but I assume he had pretty decent reflex, and he still managed to fuck up. I mean, I know they were tightly packed, but Jesus. If he did his job, there wouldn't have been an issue. It's that simple. If he had done his job, there would have been no issue. Interception mission. What do you want to hear first, the good or the bad news? The good news is we're having a serious impact on ET air operations. Incidents are down over the sponsors we're covering, and R&D is happy with the technology we've recovered. The bad news is ET High Command has escalated operations by introducing dedicated fighter craft. The ETs have set up combat air patrols, CAP, to directly counter both our own interceptors and national forces. UFOs tasked on interception missions will patrol the skies, striking at civilian and military aircraft. Data from the previous intercept suggests that ET fighters on CAP missions will make Xenonaut aircraft a priority. If ET interceptors spot our craft, most likely informed by ET satellites, they will head directly towards them and force a fight. Interceptors are the most likely type of UFO on CAP, so look for very small signals. The dropships will be especially easy targets, so I would recommend clearing out squadrons with interception missions first, before tackling other craft to prevent accidents happening to the ground team. And fighter UFOs themselves. The fighter is a very small UFO, apparently designed for air supremacy. It is faster and tougher than the light scout and surprisingly well armed for its size. Though not individually a match for an F-17 Condor, I doubt a lone F-17 would stand much chance against a full squadron of 3. The most interesting feature of this design is the absence of a pressurized crew compartment. Virtually the entirety of the saucer consists of propulsion systems, sensors, and weapon arrays. This initially led us to believe the craft was unmanned, but analysis of the wreckage revealed enough biological material to convince us otherwise. We're unsure exactly what form this pilot takes, there is only room for one, but the lack of a transparent canopy or control systems implies they're much more heavily integrated with their craft than human pilots are. The fighter's primary armament is a short-range, rapid-fire energy weapon, much like the craft cannon on our F-17s. However, it also carries a pair of longer-ranged homing missile projectiles that act more like missiles. Quite what these devices are and how they work is unknown, as fighters tend to explode so spectacularly when destroyed that there is little left to study. Whatever the culprit, I doubt we will be recovering an intact version anytime soon. Also, now that I remember, pulse laser on you. And base construction missions. This is something we're gonna have to watch out for. And I assume this is what that Corvette that we shot down and just did a mission at was attempting to do. I have a report of an engagement between local forces and ETs around a historically important mountainside which tourists flock to every year. Look at the photos here. And here. You can see they've used some kind of device to bore a kilometer-long tunnel into the rock. Unfortunately, this isn't just simple-minded vandalism, this is something more sinister. The ET's orbital fleet gives them the freedom to strike at any target in any part of the globe, but this freedom is restricted by their lines of supply. ET UFOs need to head back to their motherships to refuel, which the eggheads tell me is physically taxing even for their advanced technology. This total dependency means the fleet must have massive and ongoing supply operations to provide it with everything it needs, even though our planet has more than adequate resources if they could only get at them. To relieve the supply and repair burden on the fleet, must construct... God, that is... I think they're missing a couple words there. They must construct forward operating bases on the planet as places for refitting and repairing smaller craft, staging areas for ground-based missions, and supply dumps for foraging expeditions to reduce supply dependency. This tunnel looks like it's a test bore to see if that mountainside would be a suitable candidate. A pity they didn't do their homework, eh? National landscapes aside, we can expect ET bases to be set up in remote locations away from centers of population. This will likely make it hard to track them down. I've dispatched agents to gather what information they can, and our analysts are poring over historical UFO sighting data, but this will take time, and it isn't a reliable source of information. The most reliable way to detect an ET base is by tracing UFO activity. Only medium-class signals or higher will carry out base construction missions. Look for medium signals that land, take off again, and land shortly after, doing this several times. That's a sign that the ETs are surveying sites to see if they are suitable for a base. Their bases will need essential supplies they can't manufacture themselves, so if you can't find any bases, look for medium-sized signals which dawdle over locations that don't seem to be either a city or your own base. If you follow these craft to their end destination, they should lead you to the location of the ET base. ET bases are parasites that will sap the will of the sponsor they're attached to. While they don't have an obvious short-term effect, over the long term they are as dangerous as any direct alien attack. Okay, production of those is finished. Let's go ahead and move on to finishing up with the laser carbines. And also, now that I remember, or well, rather before I forget, equip our shield dudes with their new fancy schmancy laser pistols. Okay, so I need rifleman and an assault. So, Lucia, welcome back into operations, and Natalie, you get to join in too. And now I redo your damn orders. Okay, that looks like it's correct. And we got a little dude here. Well, I say little dude, it's a medium. That's a small. It's another medium. This one I'm just gonna airstrike it. And B team is not quite ready to do a medium, so we're gonna airstrike that one too. Okay, we got two new people. Renata Vasiliev and Seth Ross, which does have the ability to be named after somebody, although I don't have it up in front of me right now, so I'll do that either between parts or at the start of next part, because it's going to take me a little while to pull it up, and I don't really feel like dealing with that right this second. Let's try to take care of the medium, because it's a much larger threat to us than the small is at the end of the day. Condors are still refueling. Another medium just popped up. That medium's a little too far away, so just send the condors out for you. Actually, before I forget, equip you guys with jackal armor. One of you technically needs to be an assault, so who is decent strength but maybe not the best accuracy? I think Renata here is going to stay as a rifle. She has 57 accuracy and 65 strength, although Seth Ross here is also pretty good with accuracy. You know what? Renata, you are actually going to go ahead and be assault. That works fine with me. I don't think I have enough laser carbines to do this, though, correctly. Are we making the laser carbines, or are we making... Oh, we are making laser carbines. Okay, so never mind. I do have the right setup for this. Okay. That crash site will be dead by the time we get there. Send Team 1 out to take care of it. I have 8 minutes left on the clock. Which is fine. We'll go ahead and take care of this, and then this might end up being a bit of a shorter part, depending on how long this takes. We'll see. I would like, though, to try and tick this over to the next month at least. You guys aren't quite set up as I would like, but whatever. Can we... Okay, we can head pretty far south. So, UFO is probably in opposite corner, as per usual. Yeah, Natalie's gonna kind of suffer because she doesn't have... Oh. Somebody just shot at us. Oh! You fucked up, buddy. You fucked up. Irina. Irina, you are actually, I think, basically our last surviving of the really good people. Oh no, Lucia's still here. Actually, Irina's not that great. She's just a lieutenant. Lucia's the major. I actually want you to look down here because I'm a little more inclined to believe that something's down there. I don't think the game gives us the pop-up for the alien officers every time. So there may or may not be an alien officer here. Terry can't crouch. Found the UFO. Yep, found the UFO. Okay, wonderful. Again, most of them are probably inside there. They generally hang out inside. You'll get a couple people outside depending on the size. Something like this is what, normally like maybe 2 or 3 at most. And of course, there's no guarantee. They could always head back inside if they so desire. And looks like we're probably clear up here. Yeah, I think we might be clear up there. 'Cause I think we would have seen somebody by now if there was more up there. Found you. Only a 78. That's still gonna hurt like hell. No, you're probably not actually. Don't die, Lucia. You're the last of the good people. Like, literally. Everybody else is a noob. Didn't kill him, but we suppressed him, so he shouldn't do anything. And he wasted all his movement points. To run up here. Oh, god damn it. I expected you to actually be able to kill him with the burst. Fuck it, run up to him and just snapshot him. Missed twice. God damn. The hunter's really struggling to kill him. Oh, for some reason I thought I saw that that was open, but it wasn't. Natalie, push up. He's too far away for you to be able to ever engage. And he's gonna shoot again. Thank you. It should not have taken you, what was that, 4 bursts to kill him? But it did. But that should all be cleared. You're not gonna move. Can we make it around on... That's probably not advised, because you can't be incapacitated by the smoke. So I think we're gonna not do that. We'll just take the long way around, because that's way too much smoke there on the edge of the map. At least for my liking. Yeah, that's... Presumably there's nobody else outside. Everybody else should be inside. And you can't quite make it to cover. Joy. I would love for you to at least get to cover. And that finally lets us actually watch the door. And there's 2 right by the door. You know, exactly what I wanted to see. So, set up assault rifle guys and hope that they reaction fire when they open the door. I think that's going to be our best bet. Same here with the hunter. Because it can reaction fire, it just doesn't normally. Okay. You guys are in position. You run across the street. Okay, we got 2 people watching there. Somebody reaction fire on them. You did, but you missed. And 1 flees. And that's my timer. You probably can't actually see them, can you, Rena? Or Irina? I think where you were, you actually could not technically see. There we go, 1 dead. Oh, damn. That's why we like Lucia. She's good. Real good. At her job. Which is sitting back and reaction firing on aliens. Now, unless somebody else comes up to the door, let's give it another turn. Yeah. The door is officially considered clear to approach. At least, you know, according to me. So, Irina, you run. Okay. Way to turn, open the door. We got a dude in the corner there, we got you there. Anybody got a shot at this dude? Oof, Sophie got shot in the side. That works fine with me. Close the door. Sophie. Lucia? Patch Sophie up. Switch back to your rifle. Yeah, figured he was still standing there. I need to get you to not fire. And you don't have the points for that. 46% chance of landing right on him, which I don't think... Well, in theory, it should still suppress him. Fuck it, try it, Terry. Wonderful. Veronica, move up. Lucia, you don't have anywhere to go. Okay. See, the issue is that, sadly, Natalie here doesn't exactly have the strength to effectively approach and probably get the kill. Yeah, she can't see him from her position. I don't think anybody else can move up enough. Oh, Sophie can. Just gotta have her take a very annoying path to do it. And the thing is that there's probably a dude back there, and I didn't want her there, because that's just asking for trouble when somebody inevitably steps out. Dude, I know you're fucking in there. Literally saw you run away after opening the door. I need you to move out of the way, Veronica. There we go. Sophie's going to be out for 4 days and Veronica's going to be out for 3, but they both lived and they both got promoted to lieutenant. Veronica got no kills, but, you know, the fact of the matter is, she lived, basically. Is, like, the only requirement to get promoted to lieutenant. You survived your first mission? Great job! Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let this run a bit long and just sort of, well, I'm gonna try to. And let it tick over to the next month. Directional thruster array. Extraterrestrial craft are fascinating for many reasons, not least their extraordinary maneuvering ability. Their fighters dance through the air like graceful ballerinas, and even their ponderous capital ships can hover in place and turn far more quickly than their size should allow. It seems the recovered directional thruster array explains how this is possible. The device consists of a central brain and a series of rotatable thrusters mounted outside of the ship's hull. These thrusters were clearly originally designed for maneuvering in a vacuum, but during atmospheric flight take on the combined role of wings, stabilizers, and elevators. An outer shell of tiny flaps, each able to provide tiny amounts of vectored thrust, allows an immense amount of control over the output of each individual thruster. Collectively, a network of a dozen or more of these thrusters give a craft the ability to perform some fairly remarkable acrobatics, though this system is hardly energy efficient compared to conventional flight control systems. Alien craft generate enough power that this is not a problem. The brain is an oval structure, roughly the size of a car engine. It contains a crowded arrangement of sensors and a dense mass of biological electronics that we believe automatically stabilizes the flight of the UFO based on the incoming sensor data. Unfortunately, this biological brain would be too complex to replicate, but it may be possible to substitute it. Automated control systems for spacecraft have been around for almost 20 years, so I imagine with a little time, my team would be able to adapt and improve the existing designs to create something capable of controlling a few of these thrusters. We may not be able to create a system as elegant as the extraterrestrial one, but even a basic solution would dramatically improve the performance of our interceptors and dropships. Let's go ahead and get those alien electronics. And here we go. Situation stable, 0 continents lost, alien victory when 5 funding nations lost. Again, we didn't lose any. North America increased theirs by a little under 29,000. Soviet Union and Europe decreased their funding. Indochina slightly increased theirs, only by 9,000 this time, because, you know, we kind of ignored them in the second half of the month after we dealt with the terrorist site, but we knew that was likely to be the case. I don't have any eyes over most of Indochina, but that won't be the case for long. South Africa, North Africa, South America, Middle East, and Central America increased their funding by quite a bit. Central America by a lot, 100,000. So we were granted a little under 2.8 million funds, and then we used about 1.7 million for maintenance, leaving us with another million. So, we need a base situated out here in Indochina. Now, we are going to have a pretty decent overlap over basically most of India and Pakistan, and maybe slightly into Afghanistan, depending on the exact border. I don't recall exactly where it's drawn, but, you know, thereabouts-ish. Because, yeah, the only good place to really drop this, because there's nowhere further out in the Pacific, the really small islands aren't modeled on this map. So the furthest east I can deploy this is basically around Manila. So there we go. That's 500,000 down the drain. But it's for a good cause, so it's not quite down the drain necessarily. But it will help us out immensely at the end of the day. You know, should be reminded of that. It is super useful. Actually, I think I need more more laser pistols because, whoopsie daisy, I forgot to account for the fact that I have 3 people currently designated as shield people here. At the North American base, so I need well, let's, you know, double check. I have 2 shields and then 2 more riflemen there. Okay, so yeah, I need to, and we are whoops, wrong base. I was about to say, we're all out of alien alloys. I'd have been shocked if we actually were. Yeah, I was still selected on the wrong base, so whoops. So yeah, go ahead and build me 1 more laser pistol. I think that will cut it. I think. And I might need to build another laser rifle or 2. I have 3 currently sitting around. I need 4, 5, 6. No, I think the math might still be correct on that. I don't want to waste alien alloys, so I'm not going to queue up another one right now. But if we are good, great. If we're not, I can just go ahead and queue up another order. It doesn't really result in any delay, or at least, you know, nothing particularly noticeable. Now, realistically, we did get the thing about alien bases being built, or at least, them sort of wanting to do it. It is actually a good idea to let them build one base so that we can attack it, because that gives us a major upgrade to our facilities, particularly our research labs and our workshops. So if we can guarantee that there is an alien UFO that is about to set up a base, we're gonna want to let them do it. Just so that we can assault that base basically as soon as we know it's there. And then we can go ahead and get those nice upgrades, because those upgrades do improve your research speed, as well as how efficient your workshop is. Particularly, I think it's more accurate to say it decreases the build time of items. Not necessarily in terms of like, it doesn't decrease how much it costs to build, it just makes it so you build them faster. Which never hurts, of course, because eventually we're going to be needing to build new interceptors. Because these condors, while they're still really nice, and they actually are, realistically, I think the condors work basically fine until endgame. They're not the best. There are two other interceptors we get. One that is basically supposed to be a straight up replacement for the condor, and another one that's able to serve both the purpose of the condor and the foxtrot. And we're probably going to try to save, if possible, for that last one. Just because. But if push comes to shove and we have to get those straight replacements for the condor out, we will do it. I would just prefer to avoid it if at all possible. But let me go ahead and save. And this is part 10. I'd say we're making pretty decent progress. 10 parts, and we're getting our third base up and operational now. Realistically, I could have started building it last month. I just, wasn't 100% certain if we were gonna quite have the funds, so I didn't want to commit to that. Especially with all the stuff we're building to actually outfit our guys. So I wanted to, just minimize the chance of running into issues. But as it turns out, it's not a problem. So, yeah. So that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you enjoy this series or any other series on the channel, I do have a Patreon and a Streamlabs. Those are the two best ways to support the channel. I don't think this is one of those games that I have any affiliate links for. If I do, those are an option, but they're not necessarily the best. At the end of the day, they help the channel out a little bit, but if you just want to maximize support for the channel, your best bets are going to be Patreon or Streamlabs. Patreon gets you some goodies, while Streamlabs, more of the money you give goes to actually makes its way to the channel, because Patreon takes a 5% cut. But in exchange, you guys get the goodies, such as early access to videos. Generally, it's going to be about a week or so early access, but, I say a week. It's realistically going to be potentially a little bit longer than that, because I do get ahead on recordings. So I typically record 2 parts back to back. And this series, I'm way ahead, actually, right now as of recording this. I think there's like 3 or 4 parts currently still unlisted on the channel, waiting to go. So, yeah. At least as of me recording this, of course. So, yeah. I also have a Discord, link to that down below if you want to go ahead and join it. That is my go-to place for posting about what goes on with the channel. If there's any changes to my recording or streaming schedule, that's where I'll typically post it. Sometimes I'll remember to post elsewhere. Don't count on it though. So like I said, I recommend joining the Discord if you want to know what's going on. This game, I will, between parts, go ahead and rename Seth Ross, or whatever his name was. I think it was Seth Ross, right? Yeah, Seth Ross. Because we do have somebody who was looking for an American male to name one of their tunes, or one of the soldiers after them. So yes, we're going to go ahead and do that. Like I said, I'll do it between parts. So I'll see you all next time. There is a form if you want to go ahead and have one of those soldiers named after you. But until next time, a goodbye and farewell.